I let the dog outside, but I thought he would come in soon, but he just keeps barking over and over again. And I want him to come in, but whenever I walk to the door, he's just sitting there, and then he just barks and runs away. So that's annoying. I want to go somewhere else and not have him bark, or like take a shower or something, anything that's not him barking, but he doesn't want to come in. So I just have to keep going back to the door and seeing him barking. And the natural solution to that would be either to ignore him or to go somewhere else. So I can either like get in my car and go to Wendy's and get food, but then I can't leave him in the backyard, but he's just gonna keep barking. So like what's the harm? He's not gonna come inside, so I'm not like abusing him. But is this gonna incriminate me? This is a joke. Look, I'm gonna open the door and he's gonna come inside. Listen. See, it's a joke. It, he wasn't. I didn't think he'd actually come inside though. It's still a joke though, so don't arrest me for it. But if you're at like Wendy's and you have to get it to go, right? You can't just sit there and eat it. You'd feel guilty because he's just eating. He's in the backyard and you're eating burger and fries, 2 burgers, fries, and a milkshake at Wendy's, and they're not. He's barking, not at Wendy's. He's barking in your backyard, and that's while that is close to a Wendy's. The government of your city did not say that the Wendy's territory is equivalent to your territory, so it's different. There's like 2 or 3 territories between your territory and the Wendy's territory, and I think that's kind of stupid. I think all surrounding territories of every house should be a Wendy's, but that's beside the point. Besides the point, I think any territories. No, it's not besides the point anymore. I think, because now it is the point, I think every territory should be a Wendy's except for houses and Walmarts, because Walmarts sometimes have Wendy's inside of them, I think. No, that's Subways and McDonald's. But they should have Wendy's inside of them. Replace the Lens Crafters with Wendy's so that legally the territory does include a Wendy's. So technically it's also not a house. So it should be written down as a Wendy's and not like a store. Actually, Wendy's is technically a store. It's like a restaurant. But that's not true. Yeah. Also, when you have all these territories that are Wendy's, I feel like there would be an issue in that every other establishment, like Walgreens, especially Walgreens, because those don't have Wendy's, like those absolutely cannot, by any stretch of thought of the brain mind, they cannot have Wendy's inside of them. They do not sell anything that Wendy's would have on their menu. They do not sell burgers. They do not sell fries. They do not sell. They do not sell the god awful chili that smells terrible. And if you bring it in your car to eat it in your car while your dog is barking outside, and you don't want to hear him barking outside, and you don't want to sit in your room because you hear him barking outside, and you don't want to ignore him because you'll still hear him barking outside, and you sit in your car with the stupid goddamn chili, the chili is gonna smell really bad, and then you're gonna roll down your car window, and then you're gonna hear the dog still barking outside of your car. So Walgreens does not have burgers, they do not have fries, they do not have chili, they do not have milkshakes, they do not have Sprite, Coca-Cola. I think Wendy's also has lemonade, Diet Coca-Cola, water. I would say Fruitopia, but that's a McDonald's exclusive, and they don't sell those anymore. So Fruitopia is not a part of the Wendy's canon characters. They're not a Wendy's character. They are a McDonald's IP. So Fruitopia is not included. They might be included in the Walgreens, but it will not be included in the Wendy's. So Walgreens cannot exist legally under the new laws of the government. Wendy's are the only Wendy's and houses. It's just like Monopoly with the apartments and the houses. Except instead of apartments, it's the Wendy's. And I think we should replace the money too with Monopoly money. because it's really easy to produce, right? Like there's a ton of it, and it would be a lot cheaper than the weird money. Plus, I could photocopy it and then become super rich, and that's also another advantage of the Wendy's government, is that you could have a ton of money. There would be no problems. Definitely no hyperinflation. And you can have so much money in your room to block out the sounds of your dog barking repeatedly while you're home alone. And you want to take a shower, and you want to eat cereals like Frosted Flakes, Honey Bunches of Oats, Raisin Bran, Quaker Life, Original multi-grain cereal, new look, same great taste, large shines, 26 grams whole grains, no artificial sweeteners, Lucky Charms, or Special K. But you can't, because you don't have monopoly money filling in your door. So you can't do that. It's impossible. You cannot have the monopoly monies, because they're not, you can't, well, maybe I do have monopoly. That would be a good solution. No, I do not have normal Monopoly money. I have Star Wars Monopoly money and Elvis Monopoly money. Also, that's another thing that should be taken into account, because Walmart sells Monopoly money. So maybe Walmart could be the ones producing the currency, along with Hasbro, for the U.S. government. And that would make total sense, considering the prevalence of corporations in this new form of government, because Wendy's is literally the only type of property besides houses. So I think that's important to keep in mind when considering the Wendy's regime. It's just overall an importance of the government. Also, the cool thing about this is that all of these ideas tie in to the demographic of bored teenage boys with a car that have a dog in their backyard that's barking repeatedly. He's inside now, technically, but I guess if he were outside, he would be in a Wendy's. That's another thing to keep in mind. Do not take your dogs on walks, because they will be inside of Wendy's when you do that. Overall, all of these are all things that are important. Wendy's, Walmart, Monopoly money, the stupid chili that everyone hates. I've never seen someone actually eat the Wendy's chili. I've smelled the chili in the Wendy's. I've never seen them being consumed by any human. They might not be made for humans. I think that's another thing to consider when making the new government, that aliens might be living with us, and those are the ones who will be consuming the Wendy's chili, since we're not selling groceries anymore, because all we have are Wendy's in houses. Wendy's will be producing all of the food for us, including the stinky chili that no one eats, and that's for the aliens. So technically someone eats it, if the definition of the word one, as in like an individual, not the number one, was including aliens. But that's a different topic. I think that kind of language is interesting, but it's not its own. It's completely separate from all of this talk of government, which of course does tie in to the dogs of this world, and those are the aliens. There's no evidence that they come from another planet, but alien can also mean foreigner, and dogs do not speak English, and I think part of the definition of foreigner is that they don't speak your language. They speak the stupid, loud barking that's on the same level of annoying as the stinky chili. So those both tie into it. That's another important thing to consider. Overall, I think Wendy's is not the best fast food. I think I like Steak and Shake the most in terms of burger fast food. If you count Five Guys, I guess that one's good too. But Five Guys is a little different. They don't really encourage drive-throughs. They just kind of, you sit in most of the time and eat there. I guess you can get takeout and it would be fast, so it is fast food, but I think part of fast food is it having a drive-through. So I would not count Five Guys. It cannot fit on a tier list because it does not fit the qualifications. So Steak and Shake is the best one. They have the skinny fries and the seasoning. I have seasoning. I've saved up the seasoning in this cabinet, and I have a lot of it. So that's that might be an ingredient in the Wendy's chili. No, the seasoning's too good to be in the chili. I'm very curious about what is in that gross chili, because there can't be like consumable ingredients in that chili, because it's not meant for humans, it's meant for aliens, and those aliens include dogs, cats, bears, because the Bernstein Bears are real. I have seen them. When I say dogs, I also include the dog man. That is another sentient. Actually, dogs, bears, dolphins, all those are not sentient. But the dog man is, and he knows all. And he eats the chili from the Wendy's. And when you have every establishment as a Wendy's, that's good, because the dog mans will not attack people for sport or for food anymore. They will attack the Wendy's employees, which when you become an employee at Wendy's, they steal all of your DNA and your blood, and they make you a Wendy's employee. And that is a different species entirely, and they will also eat the Wendy's chili. I think. It hasn't been proven, but it's just a theory. So do not assume that what I am saying is the absolute truth. And all of this is hypothetical because the Wendy's super government does not exist yet, but it will exist when I get access to the presidency. So this is me saying that I will be running for president, actually. It's not me rambling endlessly because I'm bored. It is actually me saying that I will be running for president. I have a suit in my closet, and that will be used when I go to debates and everything. That will not be used when I go to a wedding in 2 weeks. In fact, that is for when I run to become president. And that's the main selling point. I am Dashel, and I want every property besides houses to become Wendy's, and only 2 types of properties will be Wendy's and houses. Aliens exist, and they eat the Wendy's chili. Also, the Wendy's employee eats the Wendy's chili. Here's the not real people, and that is what my campaign will stand for. Also, with the monopoly money from the Walmarts that exist, because Walmarts will now have Wendy's inside of them. And that is where people buy all of their goods, except for Wendy's food. Wendy's food is not actually sold there. They just have the Wendy's inside, so that it qualifies as a property besides houses. I am Dashel, and I approve this message.